Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So just yesterday we decided to take off all the doors in the house and paint them black. So I mean, in theory that sounds like a kind of an easy job, but when you have 25 doors all throughout the house, closet doors, bedroom doors, bathroom doors, it turned into quite the undertaking. So we're still only partly done right now. All the doors are on the other side of the house, and of course I wanted to move out all of the Toyotas, so none of them got any spray on it as we're doing that. So at any rate, because they're all out here, I figured what better opportunity than now to go through each and every one of them, kind of do a little bit more of an in-depth walkthrough on the current fleet, if you will. So for those of you stopping by for the first time, I do have, we'll start from the left here. So this is a super white 2021 4Runner TRD Pro. Here, right next to it, is essentially the same thing, a 2021 4Runner TRD Pro in the TRD exclusive color Lunar Rock. To the right of that is my beloved 2021 Toyota Land Cruiser Heritage Edition, the last of its kind for the US anyway. And then on the far right is the 2014 Toyota FJ Cruiser Trail Teams Ultimate Edition. So all of them are a little bit of a mouthful. But here's the current lineup. And I know some of you in my previous video kind of get bent out of shape about it, and I understand. I mean, it is ridiculous. As if this isn't ridiculous enough, the three of these here, you know, having two of the same is insane. I get it. So I trust me, I hear you guys, but I'm not keeping both of these. I'm selling the white one. So we're selling the white one, and I purposely bought the Lunar Rock here, hopefully with intentions of keeping it at least a little bit longer than the white one. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, when you see a lot of white 4Runner TRD Pros, you see a lot of white wannabe 4Runner TRD Pros. You got SR5s, you got the TRD off-roads. People put their rack on it, try to make it look like this. You can't really do that with this, as of right now anyway. You know, for 2022, sounds like they're going to be offering Lunar Rock again for the TRD off-road, which will make it a little less exclusive, but whatever. It's not quite as common, and it will never be quite as common as white. So for that reason, I decided to just buy that. I got a MSRP, you guys know, at 53 something out here in Maryland. And I bought this one for, back in the day, I actually traded my 2020 black, midnight black metallic Land Cruiser Heritage Edition in for this. So you can watch my old videos. I won't bore you to death with those details of how that worked out, but it worked out well back at the time. Even then, I didn't really anticipate the Land Cruisers to go up in value so much at that point. We knew that they were ending, but they've always kind of been a little bit of a tough sell for dealerships. But once you announce the end of something, all of a sudden everybody clamors for them, which is kind of silly. But anyways, all that to say, gonna sell the white one here. If you guys have not looked at what current KBB is for your TRD Pro, whether it be a Tundra, Tacoma, Sequoia, 4Runner, you know, I encourage you to check it out. You might be shocked at what you see, because it's pretty high, and depending on the mileage, it can very well be over MSRP, over what you paid for it, assuming you paid MSRP. When I just, for fun, I think I mentioned it in a video before, for fun, I plugged this one plug the VIN number into Vroom to offer it up for sale to them, and they offered $59,000 for it. Granted, that was in Seattle, and out here in Maryland, where I live, it's a little bit different market, so I'd imagine it's gonna be a little bit less than that, but still, probably right at or a little bit above MSRP, which is pretty insane. So if I can get more than MSRP for that, that's pretty cool. So I can be happy with that. And it has 12,000 miles at this point. All right, so let's look. Enough of the super white. We're gonna go ahead and walk through each of them. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of the, a little exterior walk around of all of them, highlight the cool features of each, the unique features of each. I'll also mention maybe the couple pitfalls in my personal opinion. I mean, do they really have any pitfalls? No. I mean, obviously, I love them. I'm a Toyota fanboy, but I'll try to be hypercritical in some of my examples here. But yeah, just want to share it with you, show you the outside, the inside. I'll pop the hood, show you underneath a little bit, and yeah, we'll wrap up the video. As I know, there's not not too many videos out there that really focus on a couple of these. You get a lot of Lunar Rock videos out there, I get that, but not so much with like the FJ Cruiser, the Trail Teams Ultimate Edition. There's not a whole lot of new content on those, so I figured I can throw them out there for fun. But let's start with the Lunar Rock here. So this is the TRD exclusive color for 2021. Last year's color was Army Green. The year before that, in 2019, was Voodoo Blue. So back in 2019, they offered this roof rack. I was kind of work my way top down for you for fun. I didn't really come into this with too much of a plan. So you get the roof rack that was added on in 2019. I personally am a huge fan of that. Kind of resembles that FJ Cruiser look a little bit. I think that's great. They have a sunroof. Also in 2019 they blacked this out. Previous to that it was a body colored match. This particular one has that front face clear bra. Forgive me, it's just a little bit of morning dew on it. In 2020, they did the tech refresh, if you will, on the Forerunner here. So you got the radar up front here, the Toyota Safety Sense with adaptive cruise control. So it's not the prettiest thing in the world, right? I mean, it's kind of slapped on this little rectangle here, this black rectangle, which is kind of strange. I mean, it doesn't look that good, but it does the job. And I think, this is as I bump into the other one, yeah, I think, yeah, Toyota's always been form over function, or function over form, I should say. I personally love the headlights on the Forerunners. I think that, yeah, this is the sleekest of all of them. And, you know, obviously they all, it's a matter of preference which one you like, but I think this one does look the best. The FJ Cruiser for sure looks the most unique, whereas the Land Cruiser, I guess, has the most, no pun intended, but I mean, it has the most heritage to it, has the most classic design at this point. The classic silhouette and shape of it is so, I don't know, it's very much a Land Cruiser when you look at it, right? So in 2021, they did upgrade the Fox TRD tune suspension that comes on these 4Runner TRD Pros. It's a little bit of a different tune, makes it a little bit better for higher speed off-roading, going over bumps at higher speeds, moguls, potholes, all that stuff. These are upgraded TRD wheels as well for 2021. And these are the Nitto Terra Grappler tires. Give you a look at the suspension. And this one also has that TRD front skid plate, a 1/4 inch thick. Whenever I like list off specs, I always kind of revert back to the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift when that guy is listing off the specs of his daddy's Viper, and the guy goes, "Wow, you read the brochure." I always think of that, for the record, every time I do this. So maybe a couple of you might know what I'm talking about. All right, let's talk. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you the back of this and then we'll talk Land Cruiser, okay? So these are next to go, along with the tires. You saw that in my previous video. Gonna get KO2s on it, BFG Garage KO2s, and then these are gonna be swapped out for those black RSG sliders with the kick out, dimple up. Here's the back end. I personally, forgive me a little morning dew on it, but I think these look the best out of all of them. Most modern, very simple, very small. Whereas you will see with the Land Cruiser here, they're pretty big, pretty much just in your face and scream 2008. These actually came with the blacked out caps for the lettering here and the number, the Toyota badge. There's your TRD Pro badge back here. And there's your tow hitch right there. It can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Signature with the Forerunner, as well as the Tundra and Sequoia. This rear glass window goes up and down, which is great if you have doggos. And I still have the window sticker in the in the window because we have not been driving it at all. You know, we've been driving the white one here. All right, you get the TRD Cat-Back Exhaust, which I personally think sounds great. You know, tied to this 4.0 4-liter V6. It's, I don't know, it has a little bit of a throaty sound to it. Some people think it's a little bit drony. I understand where they're coming from, but I personally like it. Then again, I came from driving Subaru WRX STIs throughout my childhood, if you will, my teenage years. So, you know, anything that isn't an STI, I don't know, it's pretty quiet to me. There's a side profile. And one difference between these two, there's a couple, but one, gosh, it's so dirty. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so this is life when you have 3 kids, right? This is game over, okay? And dogs, so you still got some fur in the back of it from our trip over here. And kitty litter that spilled. How about that? Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done. Maybe I shouldn't have showed you this. But anyways, the difference is this has this kick out, right? So you popped it over, and you can see if this will avalanche over there. Let me actually adjust this right. So that's what it kind of looks like, and that's not all the way. I think I can go a little more. Yeah, no, I can't. So anyway, so you get a little bit of a tailgate, if you will, where you can sit up on it. And it's also good when you have groceries or anything back here that is a little bit heavier. You can pull it closer to you rather than leaning deep in there to pull it out, which is pretty cool. I think it holds up to 440 pounds. Yep. So that is one thing that this one has that the Lunar Rock did not come spec'd with. And by the sounds of it, it is not something that you can just go to Toyota and say, hey, I want that rear cargo pull-out tray, and they can slap it on. It is something, no kidding, that they have to do at the regional assembly plant, to my understanding. So you guys let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But anyways, I digress. I'll go through the details of the interior on this here in a second, but I figure I'll start with the exterior. So that's what I'm talking about with the side profile of this is the most classic in my opinion. That silhouette just screams Land Cruiser in my opinion. Very high, straight up. Anyways, I'll show you the Heritage wheels here that only come on the Heritage Edition. They're bronze. They're the forged BBS wheels that come on the Tundra TRD Pro as well. Of course, they're black on the Tundra. You guys know I put on these 285 65 18s, BFG Garage KO2s. I did that literally from day one through Toyota. I had them ordered. So by the time I actually went out there to pick it up, they were on, which I absolutely love the look of that. One unique thing is the gas cap is on the right hand side of the Land Cruiser. Not many people should talk about that. It's not that important, I guess, but as you'll see there, Exhibit A, or Exhibit B rather, is on the left hand side. On all the, let me fix that there we go. On all other Toyotas, like the Tundra TRD Pro, Sequoia, it's all on the left hand side, whereas it's right on this one. You get the Heritage badge up here, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, unique for the Heritage Edition. The color of this is magnetic gray metallic, which is a pretty common color at this point, right? Pretty common color for Toyotas at large. You can get it on the Forerunner. You could have gotten it on a Forerunner for years now. The Tundra, Sequoia, all of them. It's a pretty common color, but it was unique for the 2021. In 2021, they separated to 4 different colors, rather than just being that Blizzard Pearl White and Midnight Black Metallic like they had for 2020. In 2021, they offered the I forget what it was, Classic Silver, and then the Magnetic Gray Metallic. So by the sounds of it, there's 200 of these, and then there's 200 of the Classic Silver, and then the rest are Midnight Black Metallic and Blizzard Pearl. So a little fun fact for you. This is what I'm talking about with that big bulky rear tail lights. If you've been watching my channel, you've heard me meow about that plenty at this point, but you know, it's a part of the whole classic look of it. And honestly, when the taillights are on, it's at night, the look of this, the interior, the inside design of it is actually pretty cool with LED lighting. It actually looks really good at night, but when you look at it right here, you're like, okay, 2008, here we are. So, a little different. Go up front. You get that's a Yakima Mega Warrior roof basket up here, which, I don't know, I'm indifferent on it. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. It does look like an afterthought to some degree, I get it. But, I don't know, I do think it's better than nothing. And when you have nothing up there, it does look just like very much like a normal, quote unquote normal 200 series, which isn't a bad thing. Not to mention, when you actually take it off, you can fit into most garages, most parking garages, you know, personal residential garages. You can actually fit into things. Same goes for like car washes. If you're gonna do like a touchless car wash, you can actually fit when you take that thing off. Because this is a pretty tall vehicle. We'll look at the front end up here. I think, you know, this, I think this is a little bit more of an acquired taste at this point, because I remember not loving it at the beginning. You know, and either at this point, either you love it or you hate it. There's no big fender flares on the side either, so nothing really screams at you to tell you, hey, this is $90,000. There really is not a whole lot that does that. It isn't until you really start reading the brochure where you start realizing, like, hey, how much actually goes into this thing, right? It is a bulletproof rig built for 25 years or more with minimal maintenance. No kidding, it is. So, pretty cool. Not to mention, I mean, people meow all the time about the price of these. And, I mean, think about it. I mean, the modern GMC Yukon, the modern Cadillac Escalade, Chevy Tahoe, Suburban, those are getting wicked expensive too. So I mean, they're neck and neck, and of course the Escalade is even a lot more than this. And this is going to be a lot more reliable than those. But because you get all the bells and whistles and all the fluffy tech in the others, people justify it in their minds a lot better than this, which I understand. Show you that darkened headlight housing, which is pretty cool. And this is unique to the Heritage Edition. The non-Heritage will get the, I guess, the chrome inside, or, you know, silver inside there. Which I think this goes a long way with this vehicle. The darkened headlight housing, it really modernizes it, makes it look like a 2021 in my opinion. This is where your Toyota safety sense is integrated within the badge here, the logo. So that's where you get your radar, adaptive cruise control, and all that fun stuff. Your parking sonars, you see that. And believe it or not, these are, this is a darkened chrome. So all this through here, this is a darkened chrome, unique to this. And then you get the bronze right up here, or gunmetal bronze paint finish up here, which looks pretty cool. One other bit is these are finished in black, so it kind of sets it off pretty well, especially with the, you know, the darkened accents, the black roof rack, you know, of course the tires, black and darkened headlight housing. So this is a good little accent piece to it, which you'd never notice that on the midnight black metallic, right? Which I had before, but you do notice it with this. And for fun, make sure I pull out the right one here. I'll pull out the key and lock it for you, and it should be set to where, so here's the key for starters. Let me give you a better look at that. So there's the key. So this, even though some of you may think it's super basic, wait till I show you the Forerunner key. Okay, so you get like a little tread pattern back here. I get a little separate TRD lanyard I got, I think off Amazon. Anyway, so when you lock it, you can watch up there. Oh, I was hitting I was hitting unlock and telling me I was locking it. So yeah, when you hit lock, and actually hit lock, the, you know, you see up there the mirrors fold in. So a small thing, but something that you do not get with the Forerunner, and of course not with the FJ. Then when you unlock it, you know, they'll pop open. I personally like this little bump here, little dip that you get with the Land Cruiser in the hood, especially while you're driving. From your driving view, it definitely is a commanding view where you're at. You're seated high in there too. It's already a high vehicle, so you have a lot of confidence when you're driving this thing. And a lot of you kind of joke, you know, I joke, I should say too. You know, my wife ended up driving my last one, the 2020, while I drove that Tundra TRD Pro, the army green one that I had. That was my daily driver, and this ended up being my wife's, the black one. And you know, you guys joke about that, but honestly, from, you know, being about that dad life, nothing really gives me better peace of mind knowing that my whole family, she's often driving the kiddos around, my whole family's in a bulletproof tank like this, right? You know, where, you know, if that day comes where there's an accident, you know, they have higher chances of faring well, right? Knock on wood. So stuff like that I think about, and you other dads out there and family folks, you understand where I'm coming from. So sure, she got the cooler car, and I'm jealous. I wish it was kind of my daily driver back then, but you know, the Tundra was equally cool, and I like knowing that my family's safe. All right, anything else on the exterior? I'm trying to think. One other fun thing before we go to the FJ is, so all 4 doors have this. I can't remember if I mentioned that in my previous videos with my old 2020, but all of them have where you put your hand there, you can kind of see it bop, that's you locking it, right? Or if you just put your hand there, it'll unlock and open. Of course, that guy pops open too, so you can open it. So that's not that cool, but the cool thing is there's 4. You got 1 on every door. And that is cool, because I mean, what do you normally have? You only normally have it on your driver door, and sometimes driver and passenger, right? Is never on these back doors. So you get the same thing, which is pretty cool. All right, so we'll stop for now on the Land Cruiser. Then we'll kind of go through them one more time on the interior, make this a little bit of a longer video. But I think it's worth it, because these are, like the title suggests, I mean, I do think these are living legends at this point, especially with the fact that we are getting closer to, you know, I should say we're distancing ourselves from these old, thirsty combustion engines and getting more toward that higher tech, fuel efficient vehicles, hybrid vehicles, full electric vehicles, right? So these are quickly becoming a thing of the past, especially this one here, right? The most thirsty of the group. But yeah, these are becoming a thing of the past. So I feel like they're living legends at this point, and they will be. So I'll give you a kind of a walk around of the FJ. This one is absolutely the most unique, of course, for obvious reasons. It is definitely the design marvel of the group. The one that we'll acquire has, especially with my 2013, I can attest to it, the most attention you get with these, which is kind of crazy, right? Because you do get, I mean, there's plenty of these on the road. They built a ton of them back in 07, 08, 09, or 07, 08 in particular, you know, tons of them. Whereas they fizzled out quite a bit, especially with the, you know, the 08 market crash, the economy crash. I mean, thirsty vehicles like this, it just was a victim of poor timing, as we've heard before, I'm sure. So had these been built today, like, you know, from 2015, 2016 onward, people would love them, and they would still be bought up like crazy, just like the Forerunner has. So I think these would be pretty successful if they're continued in the States today. By the sounds of it, they are continued elsewhere around the world, which is pretty cool. Can you imagine buying a 2021 FJ Cruiser just like this? It'd be kind of cool. All right, I'll stop geeking out. Kind of show you the back end here. You get the rear swing out hatch with the Trail Team's badge back here, which I love that. So just a little latch right here. Showed you this one. totally beat it up. Pretty cool. That's a side swing out. That's not the case with either of the Forerunner or Land Cruiser over there. They pop up. The Land Cruiser does have the, you know, the upper 2/3 will pop up and the lower third turns into a tailgate, which is kind of neat. Showed you, already geeked out about my swag bag with you in my last video. Pretty basic though, right? Not a lot, not a lot happening back here. There's your locking mechanism. Just pull it out to lock. It's locked. It will, if anyone were to push it, nothing happens. They get stiff armed by it, or you just push it forward to unlock it. All right, let's go to the other side. I do absolutely love this. Look at that, you got two dudes. I do love this. All right, so here are those. I mean, they're definitely unique. They're pretty cool, right? I mean, here are your buttermilk basic tail lights. Now with this, you get the same exact 4-liter V6 and same 5-speed automatic transmission that you get. I shouldn't say same exact. I think there's minor adjustments to it since 2014 to the 2021 there, but the same exact that you get in the Forerunners, right? So the same 4-liter V6 5-speed automatic transmission. You still get the same, you know, 16 to 18 miles per gallon in it on average. Some people attest to maybe get 19 or 20 on occasion, but I mean, normally you get that much in it. This, if I recall, reading the brochure correctly, it was I think this one was 260 horsepower with this setup, whereas it's 270 in the modern Forerunner. So again, a little bit more that they've gotten out of it. 271 foot-pounds of torque, 278 foot-pounds of torque. If I remember, don't totally beat me up on this if I'm getting it wrong, but that's kind of what's coming to mind. Whereas the Land Cruiser, you get that trusty 5.7 liter V8, the same one that you get in the Toyota Tundra, that cranks out 381 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque. So a little bit better. It has that 8-speed transmission, so the updated buttery smooth transmission, whereas you get the 6-speed in the Tundra. So you definitely notice that right from the get-go with this guy here too. Anyways, we already talked about that. Let's talk about the FJ still. So with the Trail Teams Ultimate Edition, this being the last year for the FJ in the United States anyway, you got some additional goodies. Of course, you got the Heritage Blue paint, which was the only color option for the Trail Teams Ultimate Edition here. You did get these kind of gunmetal finish wheels, which I think are the bee's knees. I love those. And these are, of course, the factory BF Goodrich KO2s, or KO1s, excuse me, KOs that came on it. So the OGs before the KO2s over here. So the KOs and KO2s over there. But very similar design, tread pattern, a little different sidewall as you'd expect. But I love these wheels. Let me know what you guys think. I think they're awesome. The 2013 that I had the black ones. Similar to the Tundra anyway. You get these big plastic bulky you know, door handles here, which is pretty ridiculous if we're being honest with each other. So giant big bulky, won't dissect the interior just yet, but kind of funny when you walk. I can imagine walking up to this back in 2013, 2014 and just put my hand here being completely underwhelmed by that. I'm like, wow, look at that Toyota. So you get these little shorty mirrors up here. I don't think anybody in the history of time has called them shorty mirrors, but you know, pretty small, right? Pretty tiny. You get the little tiny light that is like a candle. It's a candle lit little light that as you're cruising down the road, I think for you know, per the DOT, Department of Transportation standards, they just couldn't make it that bright while keeping it legal, if you will. So I think there's better intentions involved for this than what actually happened, but it's still kind of a unique feature, which is pretty cool. Can get an idea of the side profile there, how it actually kicks out. I think that's pretty awesome with the, you know, the plastic molding fenders. I think it's pretty sweet. Big amber light here. And the white grille, paying homage to the original FJ40 of the 60s. That's what they look like, and that's kind of their tribute to it right there up front. Same with the color, to some degree. And there's your TRD skid plate, again, same one that you find on that 4Runner TRD Pro over there. And this was the only FJ that actually came with it from factory, with the Ultimate Edition. It was a unique thing for the Ultimate Edition here. I'll see if I can poke up under there to show you the Bilstein suspension. You can kind of see it, yeah. So there you have it. Yeah, 66 millimeter front suspension here. A little bit of a lift as well, giving it more of a leveled look. Whereas all the other FJ Cruisers, if you ever notice, they kind of have a little bit of a dip to the front. So they kind of sag. The rake is a little bit lower up front. Whereas with this, the upgraded Trail Team's Ultimate Edition package with that Bilstein suspension, it levels it out. So it's a pretty level looking truck. In the rear, you get the, I think they're 50 millimeter Bilstein suspension with the remote reservoir, making it able to sustain constant thrash a little bit better. You can kind of see it there. Sorry, I'm not giving you the best angles, but see, gas tank, left side. Pretty cool lineup though. One of you commented in my last video, I could look at your driveway all day long. Me too. Me too. So I am, just because I own them doesn't mean I'm, I guess, numb to it. I am still very much a fanboy, I promise you. Alright, so I'm gonna real quickly kind of rip through the inside. I'm not gonna spend as much time. So here's your buttermilk basic door. This is like a rubber material, as you'd imagine, with the Tonka truck handles, which I've grown to love. Real basic seats, easy to clean out. A little dusty in here. There's your 1 of 2,500 limited production badge, which is pretty cool. Even though all trail teams for each year were about limited to 2,500, except for 2010, I think was limited to about 1,500, so even more exclusive in the Sandstorm. There's your rear suicide door, kick out door. Just plastic everything, sea of plastic in here, which, you know, jumping from this to the Land Cruiser over there, you do have a minute of whoa. But I don't know, I think it's a good whoa, just because, yeah, nothing in here is gonna break. That's for dang sure. You got your compass, your temperature gauge, and your inclinometer, which will tell you what your pitch and roll is, as you can kind of see there on the far right. Pitch and roll is as you're off-roading, which is pretty unique. And then here is your crawl control with your A-track and center, rear center diff lock. So yeah, pretty simple, but pretty awesome. No sunroof in this one. But I guess technically speaking, if you're going to be off-roading, you don't want that. One less thing to kind of break on you. Alright. Sorry guys, I made this a long video, alright, but alright, so let's look at the inside of this guy here. Your hand here unlocks. And a lot more plush. It's almost unfair to the FJ to jump into this right afterward, but here you have it. So there's your seat controls over here. Pretty standard, but a little bit more adjustability, as you'd imagine, for the price point. The MSRP on this is $89,750, if I recall, right around there. This one is not optioned with the third row. The third row bumps it up about $1,500-ish. Just over 1,000 miles on this puppy, so still pretty new at this point. The wood trim, I remember not liking that as much when I got it, but I don't know, it's all a part of the package and all a part of what Toyota really intended this for, so you grow to appreciate it. This is perhaps my least favorite bit of it. It's the whole center infotainment section. You know, it works fine. I don't like piano black. I don't like that so much. It shows fingerprints a lot more, but yeah, I like the metal bezel, if you will, or surrounding it. I think that looks great. But when it comes to actually the functionality of it, it just requires a little bit more attention, which, you know, I guess I've grown used to the other Toyotas. I've grown used to the 4Runner, I've grown used to the FJ, where, you know, you can just reach over and flick a knob and be on your way. Whereas this, it's a little more integrated within the system, the climate control and such. So it requires a little bit more attention, which isn't always the greatest thing while you're driving down the freeway, right? But if that's my biggest gripe, I think we're in a good spot. Here's your, like I said, a lot of metal finishes, which is really cool. All right. Here's your center bit here with all your off-roading goodies. All right, your like a center diff, traction control, heated cool seats, heated steering wheel, crawl control, like we just saw over there. This button with the little U-turn on it allows you to lock up and brake your inner back wheel as you're turning to kind of give you a tighter turn while you're off-roading, while you're in the mud, in the dirt. Just allows for a tighter turn to get turned around, which is pretty cool. For low, for high, yada yada. We'll talk more about this in subsequent videos. Just wanted to show it to you in this one. You do have a wireless Qi charger in there, of course, with your cigarette lighter outlet power source. And then here is your cups, which is kind of cheap and flimsy feeling, but I'm sure you can get like rubber inserts to make it a little less chintzy feeling. Your sunglass holder and your sunroof there, a normal size sunroof. I do love that this has a felt liner, like a black roof liner, which is pretty neat. And one thing I think is overlooked all the time is this. You actually have a grab handle on your entry point, which is really cool, especially if you do not, like I currently have, you do not have any running boards or sliders or anything. It allows for much easier access for sure, so I do love that. And like you've seen on the other vehicles, all the other TRD Pros, except for the Tacoma, they all have a gray tan roof liner. All right. There's the back seat here. Get a little bit of a cargo space and behind the driver's seat here, a little net. A little plastic cargo cubby right here, which isn't too useful. Then you have your climate controls back here. Again, surrounded in that wood finish that I'm indifferent about. You got your 12 volt down there. I do like that it has that matching bronze Heritage Edition stitching. I think that looks pretty cool. If I can get it to focus, there you go. I love. Hey, Bulgers! We have a buggy feature. Sorry guys, we got a buggy feature. What do you think? Oh yeah, you fixing it? Okay. Thanks, bud. Hey, you want to come over here? Actually, let's here. We're gonna show them the back of it. Come here. And you'll watch a slow kick up. There are ways to speed that up, but and then this is just a release latch mechanism. Not even a mechanism, but I think electronic release that allows you to pop it and just pull it back. What do you think, Buggy? Do you like it? Yeah. Cool. All right, and there's your pull-out cover for if you have any belongings or groceries or anything you want to cover up. That's just a button right there that brings it down. All right, and let's look at the interior of this guy here. So I'll show you this back. So this is without the cargo tray, which is kind of good and to some degree, especially if you have dogs. That cargo tray sits up about 3 or 4 inches. So when you actually have Exhibit A, you have dogs and they want to jump up back here, it makes it a little bit easier for them because it's already kind of a high vehicle. So if you can make it a little bit easier on them, it's always a good thing, right? And you, of course, you get your your cover back there as well. All right, look out, Bug. Show you this. There's your JBL speaker and sub back here, and your outlets, and some cargo cubbies, if you will. All right, 40-minute video. This is my longest video ever, guys. I'm sorry. Here is you got red stitching on this for the TRD Pros. So a lot more headroom, a lot more space in that Land Cruiser. Noticeable space. Got a little cubby space right here behind the driver's seat. There's your rear fans and your power source back there. And your basic doors. What do you think, Buggy? You want to drive? You want to go driving? Want to go drive? Oh, or you want to lick the steering? That's okay. All right, guys. All right, so this is the much needed upgrade for 2020. This is much better than the 2019 and older center infotainment here. But you're looking good, Bug. And the center stack here is much more resolution within the actual center stack. I'm not going to show you in this video, but huge improvement over the 2019s. For that reason alone, I just couldn't keep the Voodoo Blue one that I had, the 2019. This one does come with what? Yes. Oh yeah. You got it? You okay? Okay. Here's your little cubby, or your armrest safe, which was an optional thing for this. Oh, thanks, Bug. Thanks, Bogers. Thank you. And I mean, there's your faux carbon fiber and your gear selector right there, and your rear window and heated seats. One thing that I did not do in this video that I said I was going to do is show you the engine bay, but I'm already at 43 minutes, so I'm not going to do that to you in this video. So we're going to do that in a subsequent video, but like I said, just really want to capitalize on all of them being lined up like this and share that with you. We'll go free my son and we'll wrap up the video. All right, Buggy. Can you say bye? Bye. Crushed it. All right, guys. Appreciate you watching as always. Till next time.